Warriors, welcome to this video. A very important topic that we are going to discuss today related to the fear of dying. People with health anxiety, people with GAD, believe a theory, believe a story related to dying. And you know what? It's important to come from a place of flexibility. It's important to come from a place of options when it comes to what happens when we pass on. So today, I'm going to give you guys those with the 5 ways to overcome the fear of dying, okay? And this is something that I dealt with for years and years and years. You know, people were asking me, why? Why are you going through what you're going through? Why are you suffering so much? And I never really got to the core, you know, that I never really released the missing pieces of information that could have contributed to my anxiety recovery. So today is that day, guys. Number 1. Okay, the first thing is understand that fear sells and that you are being brainwashed right now. Okay, the system out there comes up with many different ideas based around what happens after you die. Okay, it's important to question these ideas. It's important to come from a place of your higher self. It's important to question your own beliefs when it comes to what you think happens, okay, when you die, and how this contributes to the growing stress and anxiety that you feel internally, okay? But understand that when we think about the media, when we think about magazines, when we think about TV, when we think about people, when we think about everything, as soon as we leave our houses, we are becoming brainwashed in a lot of ways. And that brainwashing can contribute to your rising anxiety levels, okay, and the idea of what's going to happen when I pass away, okay? So don't get caught up in what the system and the media throws at you, because it is false. It is false and it sells. And because it sells, people are making millions from your fears, especially related to your fears of dying. They use that in marketing. They use that in advertising. And it's important for us to see right through that, okay? Number 2, learn to accept that death is a normal part of the cycle of life, okay? We have to understand this because animals don't fear death, right? So why should we? We've been programmed. So we have to understand that when we were born, we didn't fear the idea of being born. Okay, when we go through our lives, we tend to gain all these different fears from other people and the suggestions from our parents and our teachers and our higher ups, wherever they might be. And we gain all this fear and this doubt and this anxiety. But we must understand that dying and passing on is a regular part of the cycle of life. And whatever will help you turn that cycle into something more comforting is something that you need to start believing in. For me, it's about reincarnation, okay? Because when we look at YouTube and when we look at certain videos, and this helped me a lot, I realized that there were certain kids, 6, 7, 8 years old, that came to this planet and were starting to talk about how they passed away in their previous life, how they were pilots in World War II and such. And then there were other people later on in life, how they start to get flashbacks of their old life, you know, and all of this. So when I put the pieces together, I came up with a great way of looking at dying and the cycle of life, and that, you know what, our bodies may, you know, die, but our soul and our spirit never passes on. And this is something that helped me so much. And I believe that when you look at things from a new angle, okay, when you look at things from a new angle, you're going to start feeling differently about that very thing, okay? Number 3, practice silence and get back in touch with your spiritual side, okay? It's so easy to get caught up in life. It's so easy to get caught up in your to-do list. I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to please this person, I have to please that person. I have so much to do. Slow down, right? And what starts to happen is when you start to slow down, when you start to sit with yourself in silence, that's when you begin to hear the most. That's when you get your ideas. That's when you get voices from your higher self and hunches that tell you to go for it and to do it because you're being guided. You cannot be guided from your higher self, whatever you think that may be, if you're always running to get the next thing done. If you're always go, go, go. If you're in the rat race. If you're getting caught up in life. So it's important to get back in touch with your spiritual side, and you do that by practicing silence, by practicing meditation and doing things that promote calmness, that contribute to your parasympathetic system. Calm, rest, digest. This is key, my friends, okay? Number 4, focus on one of the 12 states of attention to calm your mind. When we're talking about me as a neuro-linguistic programmer, we're talking about a certain skill set that will begin stopping that active mind that you currently have. Oh my goodness. And this mind is geared towards fear and anxiety and doubt and all these sort of things. We can turn this off, guys. We can turn this off. And the way we do that is we get back in touch with 3 things, okay? Visual, auditory, kinesthetic. Okay, what can you see? What can you hear? What can you feel? Okay, when you consciously gain the attention of these perceptual tasks that you want to implement, you start to turn off that mind, that monkey mind that just keeps running, right? So what we would do is we would take 12 different states. Now the different states as far as visual goes like this. Visual, internal. I would close my eyes and I would imagine seeing things, okay, while I'm sitting on a bench, for instance. Then there's visual, external. I would sit on a bench, okay, physically sit on a bench, and I would just start seeing things and just evaluating the very things that I see. Then we can go visual, internal, broad, okay, which means that I'm seeing things internally in a broad way. I see multiple different things. I'm focused on the trees and the waves and the birds that are flying, multiple different things, okay? Then we can go visual, internal, narrow, which means that I close my eyes, okay, and I imagine something that I can see, but I only focus on one thing. I only focus on that one bird that's flying in front of me. Right? So now I've got a different view. I can go broad and see multiple things, or I can go narrow and just see one thing. Okay? Now, the opposite to this is visual, external, broad, where you sit on a bench and you focus on multiple things in the outside world, and then visual, external, narrow, where you focus on only the swaying trees or whatever it may be. Now, these 12 states of attention, guys, are very, very important for your progress, okay? And to eliminate the idea of fear and doubt and all that sort of stuff when you consciously pay attention to it. So what you would do is you would take the visual, okay, and all the things I listed and go through the same things in the auditory. Okay, what can you hear? Internal, external, and so on. Broad, okay, and then narrow. And then you would go kinesthetic. What can you feel? Okay, external, what can I feel? I can feel, my shorts. I can feel the cup of tea. I can feel the wind swaying my hair side to side. Okay, and then you can go internal, the exact same things. What can I feel if I was sitting on a bench and such? So very, very powerful exercise, guys. We're talking about mindfulness here. We're talking about eliminating the monkey mind, the default mode network that just keeps running the show. Number 5, very important. This is something that I did, and I gained so much drive from it, and I believe it's going to do the same thing for you. Use death as a motivator to pursue your passion starting today. Use it as a motivator. This is a motivation tactic. I don't want to live with regret in my life. So because I am going to pass away, okay, today's the day I start pursuing my passions, whatever those may be. Today's the day I start getting back to those friendships that I put aside for so long. Today's the day that I begin starting that business I always wanted to start, or just writing that book, or whatever it is, whatever your passion might be. So use death as a motivator, guys. If you implement these 5 strategies, I promise you guys, I promise you that you are going to eliminate the fear of dying. You're going to understand that it's a regular cycle of life, and you're going to get back to what's important in your life. What's important in your life? You, your own health, your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, your physical health. Your family is important to you. Your friends are important to you. Your career is important to you. Traveling is important to you. Whatever it may be, you're going to get back to what's important to you rather than focusing on the story. Love you guys so very much. Share this video and make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, you are more than anxiety. Love you guys.